Let's get ready to rumble, guys! We are starting on GSL Belsphere Vistage, and this is going to be, I believe, the sugar on top of all these week's games. Nerchio versus HotS. Oh, this is going to be the best series of them all. It's like the one ring for the caster. If you get to such series, you just go and get your one ring and throw it outside the window because you don't mind anymore. Now you are fulfilling your life prophecy with casting, and here spawning in the bottom right position, he is Nerchio and he represents Team Acer. Now, on the other side of the map, we have from CSI Miami, I don't really know what the clan name is, he is Empire HotS, and he is just astounded that he is a part of a clan. Alright, so, you know, it's a clan McKirky from Scotland. I don't really know what that is. So it seems players are figuring out the Battle.net, the new interface, as they go, which I can't really blame them about. Let's introduce the music because there are some new, very fancy tunes in half of the swarm, so why not to listen to them? And HotS going for a supply depot here, nothing nothing out of the ordinary really. And Nerchio so far no gas. And yeah, Nerchio could use some new icon because he's not really the Protoss type. Thanks to my dear wife because she's actually reading chat more than I do. I need to focus on the game. So anyway, Nerchio will be probably starting with an expansion first. This is the usual way to start against Terran, although recently we have seen a switch that players tend to do more and more of 14 pull, more of like the strategy that they go for against Protoss. The reason for that is the addition of Widow Mines, because with Widow Mines it's so easy to put down some aggression and you get a burrowed unit, a cloaked unit at tier 2, and it's so early in the game. By that time probably no one even has the detection yet, so the early spawning pool helps defend that, but then Nerchio just feels confident in himself, so he won't go for any early spawning pools, just go for an expansion right away. The next question we need to answer ourselves is, will there be a Vespin Geyser, or will Nerchio be playing more like Dimaga and oh, by the way, a nice scout here, a patrol that is just checking if anything is trying to pass through this. It would take perfect timing just to avoid being seen by this. You would need to slip through the bushes, just like in Assassin's Creed game, but I don't think SCVs have that many skills. And yeah, this SCV will see it all. There is no gas, so that kinda means, that kinda says, that Nerchio will be going for this third base quite soon. And there's a queen on the way, so it's all nice and standard. On the other side of the map, HotS is just going for an expansion, no add-on for him, just went for 2 gases himself, and that's actually a good way to open. By the way, if you haven't known that trick, you can start off without any gases and then build 2 gases at once to even up your income, as opposed to go 1 gas then the second gas. If you just delay your gases and go 2 at once, it will equal more or less having the 1 gas then the other one, and it will give you some additional minerals to go for a quicker expansion. It's one of the ways to optimize your build order. And now from the clan McClurky, HotS is going for a factory, and yeah. So will we have anything fancy from that factory, or will that just be for some Hellion harassment, or maybe Widow Mine harassment? We will see in a second, guys. In the meanwhile, the expansions are already functioning, and surprisingly, Nerchio hasn't gone for his expansion yet. So what did he see that made him change his mind? Not having played gas for a very long while meant that basically he was going to do expansion, but something happened that Nerchio has changed his mind, and now he's just going for 2 gases in his mineral, in his main, and what he will transition into, guys. What the transition will be. And there, oh yes, so now we have the answer. HotS is not going for Hellions, And by the way, I'm not sure if you are aware of this, but Hellions have been changed just before the Heart of the Swarm release. Previously, you could just build off Hellions. After you complete your armory, you could construct Hellbats. Snap, that easy. But it has been changed that now you require an upgrade, so you need to build a tech lab to create the upgrade that allows your Hellions to transform into Hellbats, and that stopped a lot of very unfair early game harassment. This is where Blizzard felt this game should be fitting in, and now you can build Hellions later on if you have the armory, sorry, Hellbats, but even though you can build them, you cannot transform them back into Hellions and vice versa. So now Cass is building some Hellbats, so oh guys, you will be seeing a new build. This is something we haven't yet seen in Heart of the Swarm. Cass will be teaching us how to play against Zerg, and by the way, in regards to teaching, I would just love to see some examples of Heart of the Swarm play from Nerchio, because well, he's just experienced, so and he also is a very ballsy and creative player, so you know, once we know that from Nerchio what works versus what doesn't, it would be actually easier for us to start laddering and practice something. Oh, and a Hellbat drop, we'll see how it works. As you see, the Hellbat takes up 4 spaces because it's a fat ass that's trying to fit in the Medivac. that took a nosedive. After using that boost, the Medivac just stopped. And that wasn't the best example of parking, guys. And now the Hellbats are being dropped here in the mineral line. And how many losses will Nerchio suffer? Oh, it's 3 so far. Oh, up to 5 now. 6. Will we have more? And we have 7 and 8. And the Queens are just barely able to hold this off. And this is exactly the reason why Hellbats have been nerfed to take up 4 spaces in a Medivac instead of 2. Because if this is the amount of damage that 2 Hellbats done, imagine what would happen if there were 4 Hellbats. Anyway, there is a Viking on the map, 1 Viking. There is no Viking production right now, it is only a single Viking, and the reason for that is he will just be clearing some side overlords, and you know, if Nerchio is not playing very steadily, if he maybe slips and forgets about it, and he will not replace any overlords here, this will create a nice space for Cass to drop into, and that is really the purpose behind the Vikings' existence. Alright, and here at the top, Nerchio is just checking and making sure that there will be no expansion for a while now. He knows that, okay, this is a 10-minute mark, 10-minute usually where people take additional expansions. Oh, I love this wall being supported by this Widow Mine and siege tanks, so hard to get past by. Although Cass will have to face the problem of, okay, what will I do after I want to secure the 3rd base? Because right now it's all nice and easy and you'll say, ah yes, I'm so secure behind my Chinese wall, but you know, once you want to expand, you will need to open up, and then playing so defensively doesn't help you, and Nerchio is exploiting that fact with being here with his Overlord. Oh, and a nice transfuse on an Overlord. Nerchio doesn't miss a beat. This is what, yeah, you know, it's one of the traits that differ Nerchio from other players. It's one of the traits that differ good players from the best players. If you want to be the best, you just have to do stuff like this. You need to win minimal battles for minimal weight, but you know, by doing this constantly, you just win yourself a nice advantage. And now this will be cleared, of course, but the creep will still take a while to disappear, and Nerchio will know that, okay, he's trying to secure the thread, maybe I shall go in. Oh, he had a slight chance, a slight window of opportunity to just go to kill off some drones at the natural, but they just decide against it. Well, that's still okay. Oh, Cass being so active with this Viking, he already has 5 kills, so he has paid his weight in gold, I believe, and it's no problem. Right now this Viking has been so damn efficient. And Nerchio just moving around and securing so many bases, by the way. He has 4 bases. He'll be going for a 5th, quite short. And yeah, so this game is rather stable. Cass is playing this heavy mech style with a ton of Hellbats. We have saw in Heart of the Swarm, the Hellions don't really work so well in composition with siege tanks. And nothing has really changed, but Hellbats are just so stronger in that composition as opposed to Hellions, and people just decided, yeah, playing Hellions alongside with siege tanks doesn't make much sense, so I will go straight for Hellbats. And I just wonder if Cass even has the upgrade for transformation. No, of course he doesn't now. People won't be doing the upgrade at all. They will be just playing Hellbats. So anyway, Nerchio here with a couple of roaches. He doesn't want to go in right now. He may try to go for a multi-pronged attack, or at least lure the army away from there and then sneak in a couple of roaches. But besides that, the game is pretty nice, easy and safe. Nerchio is just preparing himself. I just wonder at the confidence that Cass has. You know, if I had such a map vision of only having my free vision over my free bases, I wouldn't be confident to play against a Zerg. As you can see, Nerchio is taking the perfect advantage of that. He already has 6 bases, I believe, around the map, and yeah, that's it. You know, even if he is behind the supply, he will be able to jump straight into Ultralisks, and they are so powerful. Now let's check the upgrade levels. Nerchio is already on +2/+2. He probably will be shortly going for +3/+3 as soon since he has the hive right now. And yeah, so Cass moving out with Hellions and siege tanks and a Thor, but he's not really expecting what he will get. 10 ultras. That's nearly a perfect counter. I mean, you know, the only better thing to supplement that would be a Viper to pull away some of the siege tanks, or maybe a Thor. Oh, Nerchio is... well, right now he has lost the base and all of that. It looks all dramatic, but in fact Nerchio is preparing for a huge counter attack. And by the way, he used all those roaches he had on standby there and said, okay guys, you're going in right now. And they were very happy because there were no Terran's army, and now Nerchio with a couple of Infestor and a ton of Ultras just preparing to go for the kill here. He waits for the perfect moment, and now he goes in. Oh, there are no fungals. Yes, there is one fungal right in the middle of your eyes, guys. And Nerchio moving in with a ton of Ultras, and they just smash through all this trash. It is trash for them. This is like old MP3 player. I don't need that anymore. And they throw out a siege tank through the window. It's looking so powerful. Nerchio on the move, and Cass's army has just been devastated. Nerchio stays in the game. He probably will retake the expansion that he has just lost, and he will move in. He will move in to take the Cass's third, and like I said previously, playing defensively, it's all nice and easy, but if you don't take care of proper harassment, the Zerg will just jump out so much. And Nerchio, oh, he moved on the minefield, and oh, he just lost. He just has left a graveyard behind him. This is the place where the dead ultras go, guys. Whenever an ultra dies, he goes exactly here, and he revisits this moment in the history of the Swarm, because this has been devastating. Nerchio down like by 5 or 6 ultras in a second, in a blink of an eye. He didn't even expect there will be so many Widow Mines. I think that Zerg need to learn how to incorporate even more observers into their own army. Yeah, like someone says on the chat right now, Widow Mines are amazing. And it's not a matter of them being overpowered. No. It's just a matter of players not being used to them. So this is why they usually deal so much damage. People just don't know how to fight properly against them. And this is why we watch this, because we want to become better players at StarCraft 2. Or just enjoy immensely watching better people at play. Alright, so Nerchio moving in with another nice army here. And he basically has the whole map. And another counter attack by Cass with the same unit composition. I'm not really sure it will work this time. Maybe with the addition of these Widow Mines, but I don't really see it. Nerchio doesn't mind that at all. He just goes in for the kill near the natural expansion. He forces the lift off. The Zerglings are nibbing at the workers. Not enough left here, and Nerchio just runs away. That is, wow, this is super smart. Most players would just stay and fight, but Nerchio thinks, huh, I have done the damage I needed. Why would I stay here? Why would I risk anything after I have secured myself such a big lead? So this is one of the bigger strengths of Nerchio. His decision making during the games is just oh so powerful. And it seems we'll have another engagement. The siege tanks have not been sieged, and oh, holy smokes, it doesn't look good. Nerchio losing quite a lot of his ultras to the firepower, and the Widow mines are just flying everywhere like little talibs equipped with rocket launchers. But no, it doesn't make enough sense for the ultras. They don't mind it. They just run and say "Rah!" and charge, and that's enough to kill off everything that CAS has in store. And it seems this will be Nerchio taking game number 1. CAS doesn't even have a fallback position from here. Huge supply lead, more than 2 times as many units as CAS has, and we have a victory here. Nerchio claiming the game number 1, and yeah, so wow, that was some strong ultra display. And by the way, I just wonder why all of a sudden ultras have become also popular. Before that, there is no real change. Sorry, there is a change to the ultras, but they are still a very late game unit. So we have units like Tempest, who is still not popular. We have a Swarm Host, which is much closer to the middle tech, and people don't use that all that often right now. They just found out that the old ultras, that is something I already know. I already know how to play with. It just got stronger. And the change they introduced is that Ultra no longer has this bonus armor damage. Instead, he does more damage to everything. and yeah, that's it. That's the key to its success. So anyway, guys, I would love you to tell me how am I doing. I would love you to help me become a better caster. There's a Team Liquid thread about that. If you could drop some feedback, there's a chance every 2 weeks there's a chance to win a Heart of the Swarm copy for yourself. Just because you have left me your thoughts about how should I improve my casting experience and all of that. How could I improve the show? And I'll be invited in the game number 2 quite shortly. In the meanwhile, please enjoy this commercial break. We'll be back in 3 minutes. Okie dokie, as you can hear in the background, the game has just started. And here, spawning in the bottom left position on Cloud Kingdom, we have Empire's CAS, playing as the Blue Terran, of course. And will he have Balls of Steel, or will he just crumble at the overwhelming power of Nerchio, who spawns as the Swarm Leader, Swarm Host, here at the top right as the Red Zerg. And by the way, just to let you know, I have listened to your feedback and we have added colors to the players. Previously they have been using the colors of their choices, now we just ask them to stick with blue or red, and that allows us to change the overlay at the top. So I hope you like the change. There will be, you know, this is probably a good example of why you should leave feedback. If you leave your feedback, we will really implement the changes to make the show better. It's not that, you know, leave the feedback and yeah, forget about it, bugger off. No, we really read the feedback. I really care about what you say, what you think, and thus you just help me improve my show. And you know, this overlay is probably just a small thing, but other than that, I have been taking a lot of your consideration about things like joke versus game discussion balance, and I think I got improved with that. So anyway, keep the feedback flowing. It's awesome that you guys are so helpful, and eventually I just hope to become a professional caster, and you are just helping me to fulfill my dreams. So so yeah, this is why I love you guys. But back to the game itself. Why do people get commercial right now? Anyway, if you are getting commercials during the middle of the game, you probably should reset the stream, because you must have this synced. I am only running commercials between the games, not to interrupt your viewer experience. I want it to be as good as possible. And you know, if you pause the stream, if your internet connection slowed down, if something of that sort happen, then it may be the case that you will get commercials during a game. But besides that, the commercials are run specifically in between matches. So my hands are clean. I'm not forcing commercials upon you. Anyway, but getting back to the game itself, we see Nerchio going for the hatchery first, a very standard build, and from Casper we'll have this this Reaper. Now the question is how early this gas was. To get a Reaper first, he must have went gas before the barracks, and now he'll be going for a command center. This is one of the other builds that's maybe not dominating, but they have become quite prominent during the Heart of the Swarm beta, and being even more popular right now. You just start off with a very fast gas, so you skip one worker or two, and you have this very quick Reaper to harass with, and you also have an expansion to follow up from there. You can also transform straight to triple command center and just keep the pressure on your opponent. Now, what this Reaper does, it forces your opponent into wasting more larvae into Zerglings instead of drones, and thus you will just end up making him lose his economy because he had to defend this. But then, oh, Nerchio picking it out so nicely, positioning himself perfectly. Cass shouldn't even go this path. This is a death banana alley. It looks like a nice banana, but it's not, guys. It's the death, and you know, if you just go there, you will not come out of the other end. And we have a second Reaper, but a Queen is already here, so Nerchio just defending this perfectly, easy peasy. And right now, as I said, Cass is going for the third command center. The only thing he needs to do is just to defend. And you know, with maybe this is not the best idea in the world, because the idea that goes behind the third command center is that you have dealt sufficient damage or forced enough. Yeah, exactly. So the idea behind the Reaper is that you have dealt enough damage to just to be able to afford and jump with your economy. It doesn't seem to be the case. Nerchio just goes for a straight up counter attack with a couple of Zerglings, and he will kill off even more workers than Cass was able with his Reapers. And oh, this is not looking too good for Cass. It's not a loss. It's only 6 Zerglings, and the workers were able to deal with that. I think it were 8 Zerglings, but anyway, you know, it was kind of sloppy to leave this opening out. Just not something that you would desire. So, you know, Cass tried to force Nerchio in making some Zerglings, so he did, and he went for a counter-attack. And the idea is that you will just hold to this expansion with your own dear life while you defend everything that the Zerg has to throw at you. And after that, if we check the worker counter, guys, Nerchio is so freakishly ahead. How did he do this? Holy moly guacamole. Oh, Nerchio is so far ahead. We have seen this scenario like 2 times already, and it always had been that the Zerg just overreacted with the army production, and Nerchio just didn't. He made more drones, and he was comfortable defending this. So very well played by Nerchio. He is ahead in workers, he's ahead in everything, and Kaz will be just hoping to secure this expansion. Now, of course, Kaz will reproduce the workers quite soon, because no, it's no problem if you have 3 command centers. Oh, and the Widow Mine's burrowing here, and slap! No, oh, he needs to target, the Widow Mines don't target the buildings, so he needs to take it down with only the Reapers, and the Widow Mines will intercept any sort of defense, Zerglings, Roaches, whatever Nerchio wants to throw at him, and Nerchio just decides, I don't really care, let's see what you have in store, my darling, let's see what you have in your own base. Oh shit, says Kaz right now, and he'll be trying with a siege tank. Trying with a siege tank is a nice thing to do. I do that every single Christmas, but I don't think that it will be enough. The Widow Mines already have been used, and we have GG from Kaz, and Nerchio claims the victory. After this nice transition, you wouldn't have expected that Nerchio, instead of defending this, will just go straight up attack. And he did that only because he saw that there are Widow Mines. So he was sensing that there is a trap, it's a trap, that there's a trap near his third base, and he went to sidestep away from that threat and continue with a counterattack. A very nice play by Nerchio, guys. So by the way, I just would like you to know that there is a Heart of the Swarm giveaway after the show match is done, probably in around an hour, maybe hour and a half. We'll be doing a giveaway for everyone that is watching this live. So if you are a live viewer, the only thing you need to do is to follow our channel, and if you follow, you are considered, you will be considered among the people that view again, why is my brain trolling me so hard? So let me try to explain it nice and easy. You follow, you watch, me give Heart of the Swarm key. So I don't know why did I do the Russian accent anyway, but yeah, and you need to reply on the chat saying that, hey, I'm not a fake account, I'm actually a live person. So we'll be back with a short commercial break. Alright, we are in the game already. It's 2-0 for Nerchio. And anyway, if you have just tuned in, here is Kaz spawning as the blue Terran at the top of the map. And as mentioned previously, his opponent will be the one who is bloody red with all the blood of fallen enemies around him. He is Nerchio. And Nerchio has been so sick in the previous game. He had just the right amount of defenses that he needed for that game, and right now, well, we will see what he plays. I can easily bet that he will just go for an expansion first. Although Nerchio is also well known for doing cheeses for once in a while. That's actually quite okay, and it's a mark of a good player. It's not only considered good to be able to execute macro builds and macro strategies, you are good if you can execute a number of strategies, and cheeses are just a part of that plethora of available tools. So anyway, let's see what Kaz does. He goes for barracks first this time, no earlier gas, and I can easily expect him going expand. I mean, Terran versus Zerg, you rarely see games without an expansion. There is already one expansion here. We'll be seeing a second one, probably maybe placed more here than on the expansion itself, but we will see in a second. Kaz is just, yeah, he's gathering minerals for an expansion, so we'll see it quite soon, guys, quite soon. Now Nerchio is going for a spawning pool. My question is, again, because this is the defining moment of a Zerg versus Terran, the first of the defining moments, if the Zerg goes for a gas. Yes, he goes for a gas. That means he may be opting or just giving himself the option of applying some early pressure. It doesn't mean to say that he will go for aggression 100% sure, no. That just means that he will gather 100 gas and he will have speedlings at his disposal. That will help him defend against Hellion harassment, and that will also maybe help him try to sneak in a couple of Zerglings to kill off the opponent's base. Because sometimes if you get lucky, if you get past the marine defenses, and with one barracks opening, it sometimes happens. I saw it happen multiple times. You get a command center cancel, and that's the best you can hope for. And you know, if you have 8 Zerglings at your disposal, hey, it's awesome. It didn't cost you a lot, and you have just won yourself a big lead in the game. And right, I was just trying to determine what you are guys discussing at the chat, but I just failed epically at that. I have basically no idea what is the topic of your current discussion, and thus I will not be able to implement that in my current cast. So anyway, let's focus on the game. Cast going for 2 gases, now a factory, and also this bunker. This bunker is on Antigua shipyard. This is the best bunker position because it gives a nice coverage of the mineral line, because here you have such a nice range to shoot at every Zergling that tries to harass your mineral line, and it also covers the ramp. So whenever someone is trying to do a run by, you get extra fire at no cost, and thus, you know, against what instinct would say to you, it's not the best to place the bunker here. Anyway, back to the Nerchio's base. Nerchio just going for this metabolic boost, so having the speed research, and after that he may just go, oh, he's going for upgrades. Will he be going for the same style of play we saw from Paranoid, which means masses and masses upon masses of Zerglings with some upgrades, and then switch straight into ultras? That would certainly be possible. That's an open option. Right. So anyway, for Nerchio it is pretty nice and standard. Here he doesn't take the third base, so it's cool not having the third base right now, and it will be some heavy aggression. Now on the other side of the map we have Cloak ongoing. Oh, having a Cloak research is something worthwhile. Now against Zerg, people just sometimes go for Banshees themselves without any Cloak, because you are still able to deal some damage and get a couple of worker kills without having the Cloak. But you know, with the Cloak addition, you just force your opponent into making overseers to defend this, and Nerchio will be going for a Baining Bust. That is confirmed. 9 out of 10 scientists would agree that Nerchio is going for a Baining Bust right now, and he's just gathering his numbers, and he'll be producing a ton of Zerglings and also a Roach Warren. So that's going to be a nice timing push of 2 bases. Oh, the Hellions just got in here, got past the Spinecrawler. Not so good. It's not looking good for Nerchio, but then he only has lost 4 workers, so that's not all bad. That's kind of okay-ish. If you lose 4 workers, that's okay. He has lost more of the precious numbers of Zerglings he was hoping to use later on. But anyway, never mind that. Oh, the Overlord here notices that this tech lab is working. They are researching something inside that weird building, and that means there will be Cloak. You know, out of every 100 occasions where you see the tech lab working near a starport, it is the Cloak research. You know, seeing something else at this time of the game, very unlikely. Not to say that people haven't done things to fool his opponents or just cancel that and to fake that it has been in fact complete. That can happen as well, although then you rely at the perfectionism of your opponent. Anyway, there's a Banshee that has just picked off a Queen. Sorry, no, that wasn't a Queen, that was a a Spore Crawler. Now this queen is having some trouble right now, and this expansion will be attacked. Well, with only one Cloak Banshee, there is not too much damage that Cass can do. Although, if he picks up a couple of drones and he already has 5 kills, that's good enough to pay for the Banshee. The second one is on the way, not yet cloaked, and the queens will try to defend it. Is there not an Overseer? Yes, there is, somewhere on the field right now, so it will not be a threat anymore. By the way, Nerchio doing a beautiful job of keeping most of his queens alive. He has only lost one, and thus Cass will just need to go away, and you know, he will retain the Banshees. 10 kills on one of them, 4 on the other. That has most definitely paid back. And what will Nerchio do now? So he's still, you know, he is now on 3 bases, and he changed his game plan. He's going for 2/2 upgrades, even more queens to reproduce the ones he has lost. In the background, Cass will take up his third base anyway. And Nerchio had this idea of going Baning Bust with some roaches, because he has been producing Zerglings heavily, but after he has lost so many, he just had to pull back, and you know, that much he can do right now. And yeah, so anyway, Nerchio right now just having this he is having this difficult spot where he just can't defend against all those Banshees at once with only one Overseer, especially considering the fact that he doesn't have enough Spore Crawlers. He wants to be as efficient with the defense as he can be, but you know, because of that, he has lost just more than it was worth to him. So a slight miscalculation on Nerchio's part, and Cass right now just securing himself this third. Now, one thing that really amazes me is that Nerchio is behind in supply. I'm quite sure that he has the higher worker count, of course he has, but besides that, he doesn't have any army. So right now he's just macroing heavily. He's just hoping that he will survive until the army comes. When you're playing against a Banshee opponent, that means, you know, if he went Banshee, then he has a considerably smaller army back in his base, and thus you are able to get away with a better economy if you manage to defend the Banshees. If you don't, then you're screwed, but other than that, it's kinda cool and okay. Now a macro hatch being built, the +2 upgrade being finished for the Carapace, the +2 attack upgrade for the Zerglings is already done, and Nerchio now morphing straight into Hive. Will he just go for Ultras like he did the previous game? That would make a lot of sense against this army. This army is just like a perfect target for Ultras. Now Marines, they should, this is an important fact to know, Marines normally shoot for 6 damage, and Ultras, if you upgrade them in the Ultras Cavern, they have 5 armor. So with 5 armor, a Marine is probably, you know, using a pea shooter against the Ultras and not doing enough damage. Widow Mines, as we saw in the last game, very effective, but I'm not really sure how Nerchio will react to this. Now we see a huge mass of Zerglings being morphed. Also Infestor, the Hive is nearly done, but you know, we are still minutes away from the Ultras, and before that time Nerchio will need to defend with what he has. And beautiful scans thrown by Cass just to clear the creep. He has to do it, and Nerchio pulling back. He knows he doesn't have enough force to be able to deal with that. He will try to sneak in, of course. Oh, a nice skill shot by this Infestor, just hitting the group of Marines straight in between the eyes. And Nerchio moving in, but with the inferior numbers, he is not having a big chance at it. Oh, a beautiful fungal that has hit that group and got rid of most of it. But then Nerchio is still on his back right now, pushed against the wall, trying to defend, going for the +3/+3 upgrades, and still producing Zerglings like crazy. But as we can see, there are still a lot of siege tanks left, and with that support force is actually quite sweet. Oh, Nerchio tries to defend with the Infestors, throwing infested Marines in between the tanks so those could shoot at those and just get rid of themselves. But no, it didn't work eventually, and Nerchio he's just nearly done with the transition to ultras. As soon as he gets a couple of ultras, it will be so easier for him. But he doesn't have that chance right now. It's 17 minutes into the game already, and the Zerglings are surrounding the siege tank line, but it's not enough, guys. It's just barely enough with the queens, and so many marines come in with a support from even more siege tanks. 28 Zerglings being morphed, no banings on the field, and 3 ultras on the way. Nerchio he knows if he holds this, he may still claim the victory, so it's not a big issue for him. Although, if he loses the queens, if he loses this expansion, he's done. So he's doing everything that he humanly can just to stay in the game until the ultras come. And when the ultras come, they will just show, you know, and those poor marines will just be asking themselves a question: who let the dogs out, guys? Oh, and the queens go down in the ultimate act of sacrifice, and a couple of more are here. The ultras will be here in a second, 5 seconds until the ultras come out, and they're just still clinging to this base. One marine shooting, saying, I'm going to get this, and now the ultras are upon the siege tank line. Not too much damage that the ultras can do to that, although Kaz in the background already has the rich mineral field, so the golden expansion is his. And Nerchio going for a counter attack, although, oh my god, Nerchio is in supply lead, and he actually has worked off an army advantage, so he has used all possible time just to get ahead with tech, to rush forward, to get those ultras, and right now maybe just reaping the benefits, although it is still very close, guys. And even Kaz is not so happy. Oh, we already see the spare parts flying around the map as the Widow Mines got picked. In the meanwhile, there's a drop in the main of Nerchio, but he was prepared for that with this nice Ultralisk, and you know, Ultralisk sponsored by Wilkinson with the new blades around his front. That's always a good product placement for the huge shaving company. Anyway, Kaz moving in to get some Ultralisk kills, and he has made the transition to switch to his Marauders, and Nerchio is moving in. He's trying to take, but then it is so nicely microed by Kaz. He runs away and tries to kite them, but the ultras just switch target, and they are trying to take down this planetary fortress. It's actually a good call, but then Nerchio retreats. He doesn't want to engage near the planetary. He thinks that it will be repaired anyway, and oh, with the queen's healing, it will be much easier job, and oh, the SCVs just go down. Not very lucky, and this planetary has to go down, and Kaz is not looking so heavily right now, guys. And even though Nerchio was just on the brink of losing that game right now, he's still not so close to winning the game, but he is much closer to staying in the game. Even more ultras on the way, additional. So let's see how many ultras we have on the map. 9 ultras. The problem is a lot of them are just hurt badly, and the queens will try to do transfuses and heal them, but yeah, it's not the campaign. You cannot so easily heal units. You will need to wait a while and until they regenerate. So the ones that are hurt will not be so useful unless they get mass transfused. And yeah, so let's see what Kaz goes for. Kaz stays very predictable with his siege tank line. He has incorporated a couple of Marauders in his army, but a couple of Marauders against such heavy ultras numbers is not enough. Oh, Nerchio deciding better against this. A part of Carpet just flies past the camera, guys. And oh, most of the Ultra Force just got annihilated. There is one small drop here, but it's being picked off. Oh, but then Nerchio is not able to re-establish his third. He has to go back. There were no spine crawlers there, and you know, what will Kaz do? Oh, he builds himself even more command centers. That's very necessary, because then you will just have an abundance of mules, an abundance of scans, another drop in the main. So Nerchio is rather good defending multiple drops. That's not a big issue for him, but then this makes him play defensively. He takes advantage of this gold base here, but other than that, he's just killing his ultras. He won't give up on them. So let's see where this SCV train goes. Yeah, there is an expansion here. And Nerchio going in again. The siege tanks have not been sieged. The queens shoot from the high ground. A couple of ultras just get lost. Oh, what was the way towards the enemy? And so many of them just get ripped apart piece by piece. So many bloodstains, and this is actually becoming a bone valley. And Nerchio just losing nearly all his numbers. And this is growing quite desperate. Cass right now on nice upgrades with both. Oh, he's on 3-3 with his bio. He can easily challenge all those ultras with his marines and marauders. And this is probably it for Nerchio, guys. Nerchio is falling behind now. And Nerchio says this map is a free win for Terran, which I'm not certain I agree with, but still, Cass claims the victory, and thus we are brought to the score of 2 against 1 for Nerchio, and Nerchio will be picking the next map now. By the way, so just taking advantage of your attention, guys, I would like to ask you to go to Team Liquid and drop me feedback. I would really love to know what you think about my casting, what you think about how could I improve your experience as a viewer, because I'm fully dedicated to making this the best show it possibly can. So just let me know your honest and frank thoughts. If you think that we should get some players from Korea, play more often, tell us. We will try to do so. If you think we should get some belly dancers in the background because that would attract more viewers, let us know. Just let us know what you feel. It's very important for us to know, and it would help me a lot become a better caster. And in the meanwhile, I can also remind you that there is this Heart of the Swarm giveaway that we do tonight. Well, in fact, we do it all week after every show match, and we already had 6 of them. This is in fact the 8th show match. Yes, this is the 8th show match we're casting this week, and the 8th copy will go to the viewers. If you're watching this live until the end of the show match, there will be a giveaway, and you just need to watch it online, follow us on Twitch, and when I tell your name, when I say, oh, you know, Batman, you have just won, and you will say, hey, I am here, I have just won to claim my copy of Heart of the Swarm. I will say, cool, here's your copy, and please make a sad face. Now make a happy face, because this is how Batman makes a happy face. And anyway, this is all you need to do. You don't need to make sounds while we are on air. You just need to be here and reply to get your free Heart of the Swarm for you, for your family, your girlfriend, your grandmother. If she plays, she's the coolest grandmother on earth. But anyway, we'll be back with you in a second after a short commercial break. The game is nearly starting. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. And my my good servant Alfred has just changed the score, and it's reflecting the current state of the games. This is a best of 9 series between, spawning here as a red Zerg on the top right position of the Daybreak map. His name is Nerchio, and he plays for the Acer Gaming. Now, opposing him with all his professionality, all his dignity, all his siege tanky play, he is Cass from Team Empire, and he will show us how to rule his empire with balls of steel. And could I ask my lovely assistant to bring me something to drink, preferably a Coke? That would be awesome, because I have run out of fluids, no mana potions, no health potions, nothing left, and for a caster that is a certain sudden death. So let's see what's happening in the bases of the players for now. No big issues, no big deals. There is no 10 pull, no 6 pull, no first gas, nothing of that sort. We'll just probably be having a nice perfect macro game, and the players are just setting the stage for that. Someone on the chat says that, oh, my granny has just done 92, 96, she won't be playing. Yeah. Oh, by the way, you know, back at work, we have the coolest thing regarding health and mana potion at the water dispenser near the near the, how you call those? I'm not sure, but you know, near the hot water and cold water taps, someone just made stickers mana and health. It's so hilarious. Every time I go to have a drink of water, it just makes the experience like 200% better. And so, you know, all those little things. The devil lies in the details, as they say. But anyway, we have Nerchio with a spawning pool and an expansion. A rather standard play, I would say. That was an expansion first play, and coming out of CAS is also an expansion first. So both players opting in for some very heavy macro play. Alright, and the expansion is already up, the queen is being produced, and I'm not really sure. Oh my god, I have just run out of anecdotes. There is nothing I can tell you about right now to amuse you. And it feels so strange. It's like if someone would cut off my arm, guys. This is such a weird feeling. But anyway, let's make it positive. Let's try to make up some anecdotes. So this Marine walks in a bar and says, "Where's the counter?" That's actually something I heard yesterday. And that was hilarious. That was maybe not the best StarCraft 2 joke, but close to that. The best, I cannot even tell while live, it would be so rude. But hey, anyway, getting back to the game itself, we have a factory for CAS, and I can easily imagine that with this bunker, CAS will just be playing some defensive Widow Mines. And defensive Widow Mines are extremely cool. You just put one or two, just a sip here, just a sip there, and that's enough for a perfect defense. Whenever Zerglings try to come by, they will just get blasted apart right away. No problem at all. Someone is already thinking that this is not Coke that I have in my drink. Oh guys, believe me, if that would be alcohol, I would be all of a sudden extremely serious. After alcohol, I become like 200% more serious than usual. After I drink something, it's the best time to talk with me about life, about the mysteries of the universe, about how space works, about wormholes and black holes, if they are not the same, about time travel and all of that. So you can be pretty much sure that I haven't drunk a single drop with that Coke. That is just pure Coke. You wouldn't be able to handle me with some alcohol. And by the way, if we meet anytime in life during LANs or whatever, you feel free to buy me a drink after a party. No problem at all. I'm happy to talk about the universe all night long. Anyway, CAS, just doing some nice harassment with the Widow Mine, nearly paying for that with that Widow's Mine live. I think they should change a model for someone just burrowing underground with a bazooka, and they would jump out and then burrow down again. That would be much more realistic than just a mine, but I understand that a general design principle behind the Terran is just having a lot of metal on it. And by the way, burrowing Widow Mines near Xel'Naga Towers is actually a nice technique, because at certain point in time Zer will just go back there and try to check if he can take the Xel'Naga Tower again, and by that time the Widow Mine will recharge. So we kind of force the Zerg into making an Overseer and sending a scout with an Overseer. I can already imagine a scenario where you would counter that by sending a couple of Marines to take down the Overseer. That can become something very nice and a part of Heart of the Swarm play. But for now, our good friend CAS is just bunkering up, because this is what he does best. And yeah, doing a ton of barracks in the background, additional command center, not so unusual. And he will be going for siege tanks, so no surprises here. But oh, by the way, what Kaz is doing right now is a 2 base version of a nice timing push. You can do that of 1 base rather early, but then you have much fewer units. Later on, it's still very powerful if you hit the timing right. You will have a couple of Widow Mines, a couple of Marines, and a couple of Marauders, and now they are even supported with Medivacs, so hey, why not? And this run by seems to be working perfectly fine. Nerchio being extremely careful to stay at the edge of the attention of Widow Mines, but he has the Overseer that takes most of the splash damage. Overseer actually a great counter, even just to send him to take down the splashes, and this is being chased down by Nerchio, and he doesn't really bother right now to just expand with his creep, and thus he should be pretty damn safe against all sorts of similar rushes in the future. Alright, I have just read the best StarCraft 2 joke in my life. I need to read that aloud. A probe hovers into a bar and immediately heads to the restroom. The bartender gives a glance and thinks, oh, whatever, he says. But after an hour, the probe still hasn't come out. The puzzled bartender knocks on the door, hears no response, opens the door, and immediately is vaporized by 23 photon cannons. Awesome joke, mate. Also, thank you for sharing that. I'm not very corrupt, but this is one of the things that could earn you a mod in future. Having just a good base of StarCraft 2 jokes. We're so much geeky. So anyway, Nerchio right now stabilizing the game by just expanding like crazy. This is something that he does quite often. If a danger arises, he will just abandon the expansions and fall back to his previous position. That is no problem for him. But you know, if he manages to keep them up, that's an extra mineral income, and that's actually quite awesome for him. So right now he's going for Pathogen Glands and also 2/2 upgrades for his Zerglings. So he'll be going for the same unit mixture that he went the last game. So this means a couple of Ultras, a ton of Zerglings, and of course a couple of Infestors. Now the change to the Infestors in Heart of the Swarm is that the Fungal Growth. Oh, by the way, there's a nice double drop here, but it's being caught. So yeah, that's not really way to surprise Nerchio. So anyway, what I wanted to say is that the Fungal Growth right now is actually a skill shot. You need to target that. You need to take into account that the bullet, the goo, you know, all the gooeys inside will need to fly for a certain amount of time in order to get splashed at something, and then if you hit a nice fungal, then it is no longer by a chance. It is actually very skillful nowadays. So Nerchio will be trying to find Kaz here. He is already going for his Ultra is covered, and yeah, this is going to be a very positional battle, I believe. Nerchio doesn't want to go in because there are siege tanks, there are marauders, there's everything that would just rip him apart. Nice spread by Kaz, thus he will be avoiding as much fungal growth damage as possible. Did Nerchio hear that the siege tanks have on siege? I guess he did. He's just moving back, and he has the Zerglings here near the Zenaga. Just to be careful, just to be wary what's going on. And there will... Oh, I can see a Giga drop coming, guys. Doom, doom. Drop is coming in Nerchio's way if Kaz decides so. But will he just try to position himself perfectly? Well, we already have 6 Ultras right now. It will be much easier for Nerchio to survive this. Yeah, we have the Giga drop, although everything that gets dropped will be immediately surrounded. The siege tanks from the below will just be firing at their own units. And the Ultras are already out. Oh, straight for the siege tank line. This is so unfortunate. But then, with no Zergling support, with no Infestor support, those Ultras will just get ripped apart. And they will become dog food in a second. In the meanwhile, at the natural of Nerchio, we still have Kaz ripping apart everything that he can possibly find. And Nerchio just throwing in a couple of nice fungals, but then he will lose his infestors unfortunately, although yes, the Zerglings help to clear it, and Cass is left with a couple of very hurt empty medivacs. Now, those three sexy ladies will need to do a lot of explaining once they reach the base. So yeah, this is with the the reason why people are going for the Ultralisk play recently is that the Ultras have just been buffed straight up. Instead of doing some damage to light units and a lot more damage to armored units, they just do flat out a lot of damage. It's still less than they have been doing to armored targets, but now the Ultras are just more powerful as a unit, and in Wings of Liberty they have been underused. So right now they just decided to give them a buff. Maybe their damage will be nerfed in the future, we don't know. For now, I would be really excited to see some Storm hosts play, but hey, we will see. Anyway, all those Ultras moving in for the kill. There is not much left of the ones that have been leading the charge, and Cass takes this and still is in the game. He didn't lose this expansion, he has lost a lot of his siege tanks and all of that jazz, but is still in the game. Nerchio just retreated. While you retreat as a Zerg, you always used to lose the units that are closing the charge, and that's not really good. So whenever you retreat, you're kinda agreeing on losing like half of your army, but hey, stuff like that happens. So now Nerchio just securing himself his 5th, 6th base, and being very careful not to let anything through this part of the map. This is why he has such a good creep spread here, because he will not be expanding around this place. Instead, he goes for a nice run by. Oh, holy smokes, there is no planetary fortress here, there are no siege tanks, no bunkers, no nothing. And a couple of workers have been destroyed. Let me just check that. 6 workers have been destroyed. Oh my god, this is the first time that in this game there have been a couple of workers lost. Oh, this is quite interesting. Now the Zerglings come through this way. They are just checking for things, maybe some Widow Mines, maybe. Oh, and they notice this huge group of medivacs, and there is only one of them that is actually carrying units. This is actually a Scarecrow, and Nerchio isn't scared. Nerchio, oh no, Nerchio was scared. He has repositioned his Ultras, and bye bye Marauders. There is no future here for you. Get back to Korhol, get back to Kaprulu sector. And now Nerchio losing this base. Oh, Cass very close to taking this game, although he cannot lose in a major battle like he did in the last game. In the last game, I think losing major battles just cost him the victory. And we have a huge fungal, guys. Oh my god, this fungal is the biggest fungal I've ever saw in my life. Not even when I was going and trying to pick some mushrooms in the forest with my father when I was a kid, have I seen such a huge fungal growth. And I think that all those units just feel bad about themselves because they are so smelly, and they go instantly for this expansion. And Nerchio in the background just trying to regroup and recuperate his strengths, because he needs a lot more of them than he has right now in order to defend this. Now let's check the upgrades. Upgrades stand 2-2 for both of the players, so it's not looking bad. Although, oh sorry, there's +3 upgrade for weapons for the Marines, and another fungal helps and will help Nerchio to clear it out, but then barely by an inch. And Cass, even though with superior numbers and superior upgrades, he loses this push, and Nerchio starts to be looking ahead. Now let's check army supply. Army supply is now starting to be in favor of Nerchio, but just because Cass has been throwing a wave after a wave of units in favor of the Zerg. Alright, and right now Nerchio is just switching to Broodlords and Corruptors. The reason why you go to Corruptors to go alongside Broodlords is that they are just such a nice soak for damage whenever the Terran realizes what's going on, and he will go for Viking play. You will just keep the Corruptors on front to soak up all the Viking damage, and that's it. The Broodlord will be able to shoot from the background and will be happy. And oh yes, go my children, rip something apart. There will be ice cream after we are done with this. So this is exactly what Nerchio is doing right now. And as we see, Cass has all his bases and expansions away from the Zerg. And if Nerchio picks at this, oh, it will be so difficult for Cass to reestablish this base. He had to let go of the position, and then we have a small base, well, maybe not a base raid, but we have a huge drop here by Cass, where he just took some of his remaining forces, and he is still preparing the major defense of the Jericho here in the base, but in the background he still wanted to do some damage, and he managed to clear off this expansion, so it's a nice win for him. And Nerchio, oh, is being dropped in multiple places at once. Like we mentioned, Nerchio can deal with this, and oh, he's killing his own expansion not to lose it unnecessarily. He wants to keep this one. Oh, I like you so much. You are my puppy. I don't want to lose you. And Nerchio is preparing for this big ass assault right now. Oh, so many Broodlords. So many Broodlords, and not enough Vikings to counteract that. I think Cass will be going for a relentless drop style of play. Other than that, he cannot face Nerchio in a capital battle. So this is a problem. Nerchio sees the drop, of course, so he will be able to prepare, and he already sent a couple of Zerglings and an Infestor there. And in the meanwhile, he will just go the Broodlord Corruptor style, and with a nice Queen support from the back, it should be quite the thing that he needs. Now, by the way, why Queens are such a nice support for the Broodlords is that one, they can heal them, two, they have nice damage and range on their upgrade towards air targets. And oh, this drop is just getting ripped apart, although the positioning has been quite perfect between the Spinecrawler and this Extractor. Not too many Zerglings were able to surround that, and also Nerchio losing that expansion, but he trades that nicely, killing off the top expansion of Cass, and Cass is now in full retreat. Although, Cass is not retreating at all. He says, alright, screw this, I'm going in. No sir, but there are too many Zerg. Ah, come on, are you a wuss? No, I'm not. So go on, carry out the order, soldier. And now Cass is just straight into the heart of the swarm, guys, because this is as hard as it gets. And Nerchio will lose his natural, but will he care that much? No, he will not go for a base trade. He will just go back and defend this, although there is a risk attached to it, because Cass can just carry on this aggression. He still has some army left. We need to remember that he's still mining of he's just mining of one base, but he is still mining, so it's not that he's just losing stuff instead of trading. He's still in the game, although the further we go, the bigger the advantage of Nerchio becomes, and Cass is just exploiting the immobility of those Broodlords, and that is awesome. Now Cass here just has a ton of Vikings. Now let's check the upgrade levels. 0 upgrades on the Vikings. This is going to be a rough ride. Oh, now I'm not surprised at all why Cass did go for the drops. Oh, the drops are his only chance, to be honest. And now I think we'll be having the capital battle in a second, and oh, the Vikings try to get a couple of shots. There is one fungal growth, and the SCVs go in. They need to, but majority of SCVs are just caught into a fungal, and Nerchio playing a very old style from Wings of Liberty, just claiming this victory, I guess. Yes, we have GGGG by Cass, and thus Nerchio takes the game number 3 for himself. And yeah, has a 3-1 lead, so potentially he is 2 victories away from victory, but you know, potentially only 2 games remain for him to be able to claim the series. Quite good, quite good. Do you like the show matches, guys? Please let us know. Please let us know if you like this. We have been doing this all week, as you can imagine. I'm pretty tired by now, but you know, a weekend ahead. We continue on Monday with an ass-kicking show match. I think I'm not sure. I don't have the confirmation yet, but I believe there will be TLO versus Whitera.
TLO versus Panda Tank and Whitera versus
Alright, so we'll be having TLO, Whitera, and Panda Tang, and someone else, and we will need to find out what the order for all of those show matches will be anyway. You know, quite sick games we had so far. I mean, this has been a great week for me. Celebrating this by giving out copies of Heart of the Swarm left and right has been the best pleasure I had in months, and you know, it just makes me happy to make you guys happy. If you want to get a Heart of the Swarm copy, just watch this stream until the end of the show match, and you know, just follow us on Twitch. That's all I want from you. If you want to increase your odds, you can go and subscribe us there, but you know, that's just for the ones that are very persistent about getting a free Heart of the Swarm. Alright, we are in the game number 5 of tonight's show match, Nerchio versus Cass. And after the exchange of pleasantries, I think that this skull here near the base of Empire Cass is not indicating that he'll be taking a light attitude towards Nerchio. And here, of course, spawning in the bottom right position of this Metropolis, is this Metropolis? No, this is Newkirk District, and you know, his name is Asus Nerchio, and he's spawning as a red Zerg. Why red? He's just covered in blood of his fallen enemies. This is what happens when you try to oppose Nerchio, and yeah, this is what it is. And the previous game has been very much Wings of Liberty style. I was just amazed why, for example, didn't Cass go for some more Hellbats early on. Hellbats to support the siege tanks, always handsome. You know, I don't really know. For now, I'm just struggling to understand, for example, why most Zergs just don't use swarm hosts. You know, it's one of those. If we take into account that you know, all the experience we got from Wings of Liberty, you know, units that spawn additional units like Infestors, Broodlords, turned out to be quite popular, let me say. And you know, I imagine the same will happen with swarm hosts. But why players are not utilizing them right now? They are just playing in their comfort zone, I guess. This is just because they feel more comfortable playing that. And the Cass going for an expansion first, straight into our refinery, and now barracks. This means he will be going for either some aggression with Reapers, that's option number 1, or he may be going for some Widow Mine, aggression or defenses. You can also defend with Widow Mines and the build is still the same. And you know, Nerchio will scout that all. If he's any good, and he is, we know that. If he's any good, he will click on the refinery, and thus he will check how many gas globules have been gathered, and he will know what is missing and, you know, what Cass is going for. And again, Nerchio doing this nice little trick where he just scouts the front, and in that way he is certain, he gains the certainty that there is no bunker rush, because normally players would just exploit the fact that the hatchery that's being built has such a low range, and they would place bunkers somewhere here. And Nerchio, just by doing this nice patrol with a single drone, you know, prevents that from happening at all. And it seems we won't be having a Reaper play, it will be a factory play straight into Widow Mines, I imagine, although don't quote me on that. Alright, it seems we'll be having a bit of a downtime, so let me just give you the link to Team Liquid. There's a thread about myself, and if you go there and if you just drop your comment, drop your honest feedback about how could I improve as a caster. My goal for 2013 is to become a professional caster. Luckily, I will get to cast some LAN tournaments, but you know, before that happens, I need to get good enough. And thus you can just go there and help me to reach my goal and help me fulfill my dreams, and it will be oh so useful, and it would be oh so lovely if you would just do that favor for me. And you know, in return, I will be giving out a Heart of the Swarm copy every 2 weeks for people who drop the feedback. Not for, you know, every person, but we'll be picking a random person from the people that have left the feedback to get a Heart of the Swarm copy, just because we love you and we really care about what you think. So anyway, let's see, what do we have here? Oh, Hellions, in fact, not Widow Mines, just Hellions and a Stargate, so we'll be Starport. So we'll be having a Hellion drop, it seems. Okay, that's also an option. I think the most fancy thing I saw in Heart of the Swarm, that the fanciest opening was very similar to this, but instead of 4 Hellions, they would have 2 Hellions and 2 Widow Mines. And putting that into a Medivac, no, it just rips everything apart. It's so strong. And 3 Hellions on the way. We see that this build didn't work exactly as Cast has planned. Ideally, he would have 4 Hellions, but hey, you know, a timing is a timing, and if you delay to... Oh my, why are players doing this? It seems that with the addition of the boosters on Medivacs, the Medivacs will just be... They will be having exactly the same travel time. They will be just boosting very hard and then stopping. And boosting and stopping, just like your sister when she was learning how to drive a car. And you know, it's not very useful. So anyway, it seems that this didn't work well for Cass. The drones have been pulled back, so a little bit of wasted mining time, but eventually this basically deals no damage. So so hey, anyway, this is awesome. By the way, I'm seeing quite a couple of good opinions on the stream right now, and you know, you seem to think that this is quite well. So thank you very much. I'm humble in accepting this, but then it makes me smile inside. So there's a huge banana on my face in the inside, if that's even possible. but you know, this week has been a blast. I have learned so much about Heart of the Swarm. I have been practicing for this, obviously. It's not, you know, I just decided to become a caster, but this week is where we basically came out of the dark, and it has been so exciting to see nice reaction out of the community and nice acceptance. So, you know, I will just try to do my best to keep up the good work and eventually get to my goal of becoming a professional caster. Now, the game is starting to get more fishy right now. Cass preparing himself with four bunkers. This is quite a lot. And Nerchio, I'm not even sure if Nerchio is planning to throw anything at Cass right now. He's just going for expansions. Yes, he has this one and that one. So right now Nerchio is just expanding, and I think Cass, after that failed drop attempt, he just thought that, oh my god, he'll go for a counter push and I'll just be destroyed. Now, probably he didn't overreact that much. I wonder what those 4 bunkers were for. Probably Cass got a misread on something. We will not know, guys. We will not know. There's a nice roach run by. This is a mark play, a trademark play by Nerchio. He always does that. 5 roaches, 2 kills, that's okay, get back to the base. Sometimes 10 roaches, 5 kills, you may lose those roaches, but still you got SCV kills, so that's even better. So anyway, yeah. And let's see what happens from now. Nerchio just taking massive amounts of gas. And that's it. So for now, I think both of the players are just preparing themselves for the late game. And Nerchio again going for this build where he just rushes into getting Hive, and then for Ultras, is that the new Zerg metagame? I will need to ask Nerchio about that. Nerchio is one of the players who rages if he sees someone playing too much the same, and yeah. Let's see, a couple of roaches here. Where was the drop? Oh yes, here is the drop. So right now, Cass will be trying to do some damage, and he may go for the queen. Oh, yes! It didn't really work for him again, and he will need to retreat. And the Medivac is just wondering, where was that handle? That turns out the Nitro. And, oh, well, trying to drop here. No, Nerchio is prepared. Nerchio is superior with his ability to defend drops. He just has a bunches of Zerglings and Infestors all around, and sends a smiley face. I don't really know what the XD face looks like. Is it like this, you know? You know, it always escaped my understanding, but hey, it's not the first and the last thing. And at the top, Cass with some nice... Oh, he predicted that Nerchio will be going for this, and Nerchio actually told me once that, you know, yeah, that roach run by style that I do very often, it works extremely well until players start to realize what I'm about to do, and then they are just prepared with a small groups of units, and they just counter my roach play right away. It's not so difficult to counter once you know how to defend it, and Cass seemed to figure out how to do it exactly. Just remember how to play against Nerchio, but then Nerchio is not giving up. He's saying, hey, and what about this? Are you ready for this? Let's let the party start. And now Cass will need to move away with his whole army. I'm not sure that's a good call, but hey. And he saves this this command center that just lands back. Right, so going out from here, Nerchio will be preparing himself for Ultra play. He's also going for the Adrenal Glands upgrade, +3 upgrades for both Hitinius plating and Zerg melee attacks level. Oh, sorry, this is the Ultra's upgrade. Obviously, this is the Carapace upgrade, so it's only +2 level right now. And he's gathering his forces here. Now, where are the Ultras? Are they somewhere here? No, we just have Infestors. So this is just designed to kill this expansion, but we have a planetary fortress here, so for the Zerglings to engage in such a combat, probably not so smart, but since Nerchio dedicated himself to do this anyway, he will just carry on, and boom! Not very much left out of this base, and Cass will try to intercept very nicely. I'm not sure if you noticed on the minimap, but the second Cass realized that Nerchio is here, he just went the other way around to intercept his force, and you know, he doesn't know exactly where Nerchio is, but he has a good idea. And now, oh yes, Nerchio thought, oh, he will just intercept me, so he went the other way around. So this is a flint within a flint within a flint, guys. And eventually Cass, of course, ends up clearing this out, but then at a heavy expense. Uh-oh, this has been sloppy. Most of the worker line has just been ripped apart by the siege tanks that have been sieged on the upper ground, and this is not looking good for Cass right now. So how many Ultras do we have? 10 Ultras in perfect health. Oh yes, they have just got back from holidays. They are here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and guess what? The Overlords are not such a tasty gum, so eventually instead of chewing Overlords, they will just go out and kick some Terran asses, Terran butts. And Cass preparing himself, not sieging the tanks, not to make the same mistake he made previously. When you engage Ultras, you actually kind of prefer to have the siege tanks not sieged, because you get more time to shoot them. It also depends on the ground and you know, the terrain and your current position, but you know, in a situation like this, you usually prefer not to have your siege tanks sieged. So anyway, right now Nerchio is just running around trying to force his opponent into a bad position perfectly. He would prefer to play, of course, while on creep, and oh, the Zerglings go in. We have a huge stim. What a nice Fangle lands on top of most of the Medivacs. Will another Fangle follow that? No, Nerchio just run out of the army, that, you know, all the Zerglings, and he doesn't want to sacrifice his Ultras too much. He wants to keep throwing Zerglings and support them with Ultras, because Ultras deal so much damage and Zerglings are so cheap. But then he will be forced in an engagement quite soon. There is a Viper, but the Viper gets picked, and oh, his dead body just drops into a rain of bloody particles. And now Cass ripping apart through all the ultras. I think we have like 5 FPS in the game itself. There's so much damage going on right now, my CPU cannot handle it. And Cass taking the game forward, and it seems he should be able to claim this victory, if not, you know, small victory in a battle, if not the game itself. Nerchio still preparing, and we have saw him to claim a game once from a similar position. There are still 2 queens. But no, the DPS on Cass is just too high. Cass is extremely good with the upgrades, and he also goes for additional vehicle weapon upgrades. That's just good enough to deal with this. And you know, even if right now he's just losing so many units, that's because Nerchio is throwing at him like wave after wave of his reinforcements, while Cass has still been using the same very old army. So he doesn't mind that. He doesn't mind that trait, and he just needs to be wary not to let the advantage go. The advantage has allowed him to take this expansion here. That's awesome. He just needs to keep it. And in the background, you know, guys, in the background, he just needs to work on harassing Nerchio. And like we said, Nerchio is kind of good at defending the harassment, but that doesn't mean to say that he will defend everything. All right. We have another push from Cass. Oh, the Medivacs are seconds away from being completely destroyed, so that's not the perfect environment for such a fight. But hey, you know, this seems more or less like planet Earth, so I'm not really surprised that Cass wants to fight till the very bitter end against the Zerg that want to infest everything without any reluctance. And Nerchio right now preparing himself to go in, but no. Oh, Cass! Uh-oh, he has been spread out so nicely, but then a second of being lumped up and a fungal landed on top of that. But then he manages to block off the ultras and they are not able to pass, taking so much damage. But oh, then again, the siege tanks from behind just fire so much at his own units, and Cass survives this barely by an inch, guys. And oh, this is the disadvantage of taking queens into the battle. They just stand in the way of ultras. This still hasn't been figured out. A very nice fungal that will keep Nerchio alive for another second, but it seems that Cass is slowly but steadily taking this game. And yeah, we have GG from Nerchio, GG from Cass. Until the very last second, we didn't know which one of them will surrender. Yeah, anyway. So wow, what a game. This has been extremely active. And even though some of you would say, oh yeah, this is our old Wings of Liberty, no it isn't. Some of the things here work completely differently than they did in the past. The drops are much more prominent, so you don't camp around as you saw Cass try to do a ton of drops. Above that, you have the ultras, which instead of doing some damage and then plus damage to the armored units, right now they just do flat out huge amounts of damage to everything in the arc in front of them. And you know, that changed a lot in the dynamics, so it's quite cool to observe as this matchup evolves. I would still love to see at least once some Swarm host play. But in the meanwhile, guys, let me just talk with the players. Give us some time to host the next map. And in the meanwhile, I would like to remind you that there is a huge Heart of the Swarm giveaway. If you just follow us at the end of the show match, we'll be giving away a free Heart of the Swarm copy just for you. And you know, the only thing you need to do is to be present at the chat and watch us and follow us on Twitch. That's it. That's all you need to do to win Heart of the Swarm. Howdy doody everyone, the next game is about to start here, spawning in the top right position on my favorite map of the year. I'm quite sure that there will be none other to best this, because this one has snow. Here he is, spawning as the red Zerg Nerchio from Team Acer. And at the opposing side of the map, the guy with the balls of steel, colored in blue, he is Empire Cass. And as we saw, Cass loves his siege tanks, and he loves siege tank. You know, you could say, oh, that he's a mech player. No, he's not. There's a very subtle difference between him and, for example, Goody. While Goody just goes for mech play all around, just Hellions, Hellbats, then siege tanks and Thors and all of that, Cass goes for a mix of siege tanks and bioplay, and he just tries to balance out the unit composition so it works in favor when he's facing the Zerg. So you could see that he will be producing Marines at all times, and you know, at certain points when he will see, oh, there are ultras, so whenever he sees ultras he will start throwing in marauders in the mix instead of... I'm sorry, I feel a little barpy now, but what I wanted to say is that Cass is a cheeky sausage. Wow, proxy Raxes, why not? You know, just throw everything I have just said outside the window. I don't mind that. I'm a caster, I can be wrong. These guys are playing for real money and they can't. So anyway, about the previous games of Cass, he, instead of just switching his production from siege tanks and force and all of that to bioplay, he would just supplement his bioplay with whatever he needs the most, and that's actually a huge advantage of his play. Anyway, let's see how Nerchio defends this double proxy racks, and it is not scouted. This is, you know, probably the unlikeliest of locations. Why? Because this overlord, no, this overlord hasn't been there yet. So this overlord is just going across the map. I thought that he made this arc here, but anyway, even if he did, it would probably miss the barracks. So this is a very unlikely location. It is not so close to the Zerg's base. You know, it's not so far either. But Nerchio so far doesn't have an idea, and as many players do, Nerchio doesn't scout with the drone. He just scouts with the overlord and believes that he can defend anything else. But until he notices that there is something wrong, that the Raxes are missing, oh, he'll be in such a deep trouble by now. And Cass right now doing some bunkers. Nerchio, of course, notices it at the first glance because he's doing this, you know, patrol at the front. But then Cass with double barracks here, he is just cool, and Nerchio going for double spine crawler, but we will see. You know, Nerchio has been known to defend the most impossible of rushes, and oh, we even have the third bunker. This is getting crazy. Cass is so dedicated. I'm not sure if he's not overspending. Getting 2 bunkers to cancel an expansion, that's still cool, but 3 bunkers, it's you know, a little bit overzealous if you ask me. But you know, if he managed to win the game thus, why not? It's all crazy right now, and all game plans have just gone to shambles. But Cass seems to be on top of it, and Nerchio repositioning. He will shortly lose this expansion, trying to start nibbing at the bunkers with his spine crawlers, and the spine crawler get cancelled instead of the base. And oh, the bunkers get reapered, and there are no Zerglings, not too many Zerglings in fact. And all the drones, all the queens, everything gets pulled back to defend this, but this, oh, the Reaper power is just too much. 1 bunker barely holding. Will it go down with 15? Yes, it did go down, but it's not enough. And we have a GG from Nerchio, and Cass, the cheeky sausage of the evening, has just secured. I hope you don't mind that, Cass. It's an expression I learned. I'm not a native speaker, so I'm just allowed to use not so fancy expressions. I just learn it as I pick it up. So anyway, Cass has just, you know, claimed the victory, and he has made a tie in this awesome series between Cass and Nerchio with surprising just 2 proxy Raxes. And who would have thought that Nerchio will fall for it? And you know, stuff happens, guys. So we'll be back after a short break. We need to go and host the next game, so don't you go anywhere. After the show match is done, we'll be giving out a free Heart of the Swarm copy, and you know, just to show you how awesome audience you are. We'll be back shortly. Don't go anywhere. And by the way, we are already in the lobby. I see that quite a lot of you are watching this. I enjoy this immensely. This week has been a blast, I already told that, but anyway, what I would like to stress is that if you have any thoughts about how am I doing as a caster, I just switched from Polish casting to English casting, and this is still difficult with the change of language, but I'm doing my best to learn as I go. And if you could leave some feedback for me, if you could let me know how am I doing and what to do better, I will just give you the link right now on the chat. It would help me immensely, and you know, thus you will help me fulfill my dreams of becoming a professional caster. And you know, enough of me babbling, let's go into the game itself. The thing that everyone is here to watch, not listen to my rumble. And here we are on GSL Whirlwind. His name is Nerchio, he's covered in blood, he's red and angry after the last game loss, and he spawns in the bottom right position. His enemy with double, no, not proxy Raxes, they were the balls of steel that we mentioned earlier. He is Cass from Team Empire, and so far this series is very equal, and you know, both of the players are doing extremely well. And even though there have been a couple of comments criticizing that this is mainly a Wings of Liberty play, we have seen a lot of Hellbats, we have saw a lot of Widow Mines, and we even saw a Viper just flying by as he was taken down by a bunch of angry Marines. So, you know, Marines don't feel very comfortable with the expansion, but perhaps they feel like they will be taken out, like you know, like the carrier or mothership. You know, they have been away for a while. They have gone back to the expansion again, but you know, they have been just a little bit different, and the Marine doesn't feel so comfortable. So whenever he feels that there's a Viper, oh, there's a new Heart of the Swarm, he just shoots that down to prove a point that Marines are still in. They are still very much popular. So anyway, let's see what happens. And someone on the chat says play more, because with the caps lock, that's probably what your voice sounds. Playing more would be awesome, although I have a day job. So, and by the way, a day job that I love. So playing more is not really a possibility for me right now. But you know, I try to do my best. Anyway, let's see what Cass goes for. We have one Rax with a Marine, a Lonely Roger that will be exploring the depths of GSL Whirlwind, and here is an SCV that will try to do a command center. Now, will that succeed? Now, Nerchio hasn't done something that he has been quite well known for. He would usually go for 6 or 8 Zerglings just to tease the enemy, perhaps, you know, force a cancel. I have saw that happening quite a couple of times in Nerchio's games, and I had the pleasure of casting a lot of his games. So anyway, yeah. So anyway, now, oh, that's a nice piece of feedback to give more background information about the players. We kinda did that all this week, but right now it's just so late. I assume everyone knows I won't be repeating the same information over and over again, but that's a good point. Thank you for that. Anyway, getting back to the game itself, we have Nerchio, who's just going for gas, so he'll be having a rather quick metabolic boost upgrade. He's going for 2 queens, and it just seems that he'll be going for a fast third, and he wants to be secure against Hellions. Now, how much does he know about Cass? He did check that there is no extra gas. Now he just checked. Oh, here's the location, and he'll be scouting with those 2 Zerglings. That's awesome enough. Let's see what he sees. Let's see through the eyes of the Zerglings. And oh, it's so dark. It's so dark. Oh my God, there's a bunker. Oh no, let's go away. And thus Nerchio didn't get a single read on his enemy except the fact that there's a bunker. Now, the bunker normally indicates that there's an expansion. And by the way, this is something to get excited about, because normally when you play against the Zerg, you just put the bunker between the ramp and the mineral line, very close to the command center. Why? Because that way you get a nice cover around the mineral line and also a nice cover of the ramp. If you place the bunker here, it kinda says, ah, I'm doing something sneaky in the background. Want to check what it is? And, you know, Nerchio doesn't feel so comfortable anymore. Oh, and he's going for extra gases, so I can kinda sense in the air that he'll be going for mutas. There is no third base, so this gas gathering exercise has not stopped as soon as he got his speed upgrade. No. It continues. And oh, this is not looking good for Cass. Cass is going for a cloaked Banshee. Oh, sneaky bastard. But with a cloaked Banshee, there is not too much you can do against Zerg that have mutas, especially that the cloaked Banshee usually gets sent towards the Zerg base before the cloak before the cloak finishes, and thus the mutas will just, oh, what's that? I don't know, it looks Terran. Okay, bam! And it's done. No cloak Banshee left, and you have just wasted a lot of minerals. So let's see what do we have here. We have a Spire, and we have the third base after going Spire. That's kind of normal. And the mutas will of course be a perfect counter for the Helion play. So right now, if only Nerchio realizes that there is cloak going on, and he may not realize that fully. He didn't sacrifice. Oh, this is something unusual. Normally Zergs would try and sacrifice that overload to get a read, but with this map the base is so broad that it's difficult to get a proper read. And the Zerglings are here. He's trying not to show that he will be having mutas. No, yeah, he doesn't have the Spire prepared yet. Oh, what a sneaky location for the Spire. And the Cloak Banshee is already here. It's doing a ton of damage. The Cloak will eventually run out, and the Overseers are already morphing. So Nerchio will be suffering some losses, but then not too many. And oh, the Queen shouldn't go down. That's too bad. That's one of the very few ways to actually deal with the Banshee. And how many kills does the Banshee has? 11 kills against Nerchio. Oh, the defense and the read on his opponent has been sloppy. He thought, okay, you're showing me a bunker in a bad spot, so that probably means that you're not doing anything behind that. And in fact, this was again a flint within a flint, and Nerchio just thought that it's a simple bunker to throw him off a balance, but eventually it was not a simple bunker, it was a cloak Banshee in the background. And now Nerchio probably will be able to retake some of his losses or just lose the mutas. Not so good. You don't want to find Marines, mutas against Marines. And if you are starting your adventure with StarCraft 2, the reason why you don't want to trade mutas against Marines is that Marines only cost minerals, and if something costs only minerals and you need to spend a ton of gas for the mutas, you are just wasting gas and just throwing it outside the window. Nerchio right now, maybe not extremely comfortable, but taking something back. 24 workers, and oh, holy smokes, this Banshee is still alive and kicking, and Nerchio continues to lose his workers. We're up to 24 workers lost by the Zerg, and oh, holy moly, guacamole, that's not very good. You don't want to be losing so many workers against a single Banshee. Oh, so bad for Nerchio. He's a Zerg, so he will recover, but it seems... Why is he building a double bending nest? I think he wanted to build an evolution chamber. Maybe. Where is his evolution chamber, by the way? Let's check buildings. There is none. So he is doing double bending nest, but what he wanted to do is an evolution chamber. Now these mutalisks here are nice and dandy, but are they able? Yes, they are able to reclaim the losses, and Nerchio with the muta harassment is actually the best counter you could have for a Cloak Banshee, because you are able to harass your way back into the game. Now, Nerchio will have to deal with this push, and he cancelled, he noticed one of the baiting. No, he didn't, he just finished them both. Why not? They look so nice. And right now, Nerchio will be trying to defend. Double Evolution Chamber has just finished, but that will not be of much use, especially in this location. Oh my god, he may just end up losing it. And we have GG from Nerchio. Cass taking another game of the Polish Zerg player, and Cass just says G because this was kind of sloppy of Nerchio. This is not the usual Nerchio level we are so much used to seeing. So yeah, so anyway. Someone says that double's Baneling Nest is still worse than a triple infestation pit. I tend to agree. I don't know what tournament it was. I saw so many of them, but I remember the game where one of the players was just building infestation pits because what he was trying to build, could you remind me, was that, I'm not quite sure, but he was trying to build something and he just went for triple infestation pit by a mistake. So anyway, guys, we'll be back in a second. The game is being hosted. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Yeguys TV. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I do. Someone has just said the nicest thing ever. Yeguen is doing well. Compared to MLG, he's more interesting. Oh my god, I have never thought that I'm even going to hear that. So, if you want me for the next MLG caster, why not to submit some... you can tweet about me to MLG, you can easily find my Twitter. It's probably somewhere around there. Yeah, next to the command center being built. Why not tweeting to MLG that, hey, this guy is quite amazing. Now, I don't really think that I'm ready for that yet, but I will be attempting to reach the goal of becoming a professional caster this year. I just need to work on my English and my vocabulary to get it up to speed, and as soon as I'm done to that, I'll be just out kicking butts. And yeah, anyway, back to the game itself. We have spawning here as a red Zerg. In the right corner of Aquilon Flats, he is Nerchio and he's playing for Acer. Now we have Empire Cast spawning here in the left-right corner, and you know, he's a blue Terran. And we already saw that, you know, even though he is very conservative in his way of playing, he still has quite an arsenal of different styles of play at his choice, and that's actually extremely good. Many players would just get locked into single strategies that they execute really well, but then if you want to be the best, if you aim to be the best, you need to have a different arsenal of potential openings, of potential build orders and transitions. You will not do well as a one-trick soldier, right? Now the mystery has explained. I am better than MLG because MLG hasn't started yet. So yeah, thank you for that feedback. I enjoy to be the, you know, the waiting lobby for people before the MLG starts. Still, it's better than being no one. So hey, anyway, I'm quite happy. This week is just awesome, and you know, I have got a lot of good feedback from you guys, so I'm very much fulfilled for this week, and once we're done with this, I will just go and get drunk. No, I will just go and get to sleep, because sleep pattern is, as it turns out, not overrated at all. Not overrated. Okay, so let's see what do we have here. We have a spawning pool, we have an expansion, no gas play for now, and Nerchio scouting. By the way, one of the good traits of Nerchio is that he will usually not analyze things, because what you can do as a player is, when someone does a thing like 2 proxy racks to you, you will then just go, oh my god, he's going to do this again, and you will start worrying so much that your quality of play will drop significantly, and eventually you will lose. But with Nerchio, he's not afraid of that. Nerchio just said, okay, alright, let's get on with the next game. I don't mind that. Nerchio, by the way, one of the calmer players out there, and that's one of the secrets of his success. He is, whenever everyone else is just freaking out and, oh my god, I'm going to play this, and oh, I'm so afraid of him, this is going to be so bad, I'm going to lose this. Nerchio is just, holy smokes. Cass didn't cancel this bunker. Oh, not so good. And he retreats behind this veil of the wall on the front, and you know, with 2 marines, 1 SCV, he's quite happy to take a wrench and start beating and mashing against those zerglings. But you know, losing a bunker early on in the game, not so good. That's 150 minerals. So let's see what happens now, and Cass is going for nearly an instant starport, and he'll be doing the Hellion play that he tried to do earlier. I think now he won't get supply block, but it would be bad to get supply block 2 times in a row with the same build, but once the starport is up, Cass will be using just the same build that people have been using for Hellbat drops. With Hellbats it has been more complicated, because you had to build an armory first to transform to Hellbats, but with Hellions, just throw my argumentation outside the window. There is going to be a Banshee play, and he has enough energy for Cloak, so this sneaky guy will be again going for Cloak. And will Nerchio expect it? I tend to think that Nerchio is already tired playing this, and Cass is just on the move. Cass is throwing away a couple of Hellions here to harass Nerchio and to keep him in check, to make sure what is the timing on the expansion, and behind that he will just go for Cloak Banshees exactly like he did the last game. And Nerchio may be thinking, oh yeah, he did the Cloak Banshee, what are the odds of him doing that again? But Nerchio, now Nerchio is doing something very sweet. Oh no, all those drones in one place, this is not so good. Nerchio has lost 9 workers there, and he's going for a Roach counter-attack alongside with Burrow. So right now, Burrow has been moved in Heart of the Swarm to tier 1, and you know, that makes Roach and Bailing play even more effective. So it's going to be interesting to see how these Roaches will basically just force Cass into keeping the Banshees inside his own damn base. And as you can see, here's a Hellion, and he tries to... he's not one of the drivers, he just beeps his horn and says, ah, move away, I'm driving home, my wife is giving birth, I don't care, I'm a Roach, I'm a mindless creature controlled by Kerrigan, controlled by the Swarm. No, and the wall, it seems it will be broken. Oh, 1 supply depot left standing in the way of Nerchio, and right now, so many workers will be smashed by the siege tank. This is not looking good for Cass. He will defend this, but at what cost? At what cost, guys? And you know, as we said, Cass defends this, but or does he? No, he has to defend it, you know. Even the angry workers with the wrenches would just kill off the roaches. But the cost of the defense was just grave compared to what he has done before. So starting the game, he was doing quite nicely and handsomely with with the Hellion harassment. Now all the Banshee play has been cancelled out because Nerchio realized that's happening, and he went for Spore Crawlers. But then But then, guys, Cass has lost so much during this defense that it basically made all of his earlier winnings obsolete. And right now Cass will be trying to establish this great Chinese wall in front of his base, and except that he'll be, let's see what Cass is going for. He's going for upgrade, so he'll be switching to a standard mech, he'll be switching to a standard bio play and supported by some siege tanks. That is the usual Cass's style of play. Nerchio, by the way, doing a terrific job with spreading the creep around the map. Nowadays it is more difficult. Previously you could just spread the creep and then you would control click on a creep tumor, but now it takes time for the creep tumor to get to its destination, and thus you cannot just right away control click. You need to wait until it reaches there, and it slows you down. Most of the players just don't decide waiting for it, because, you know, waiting for such a thing means 1 second every once in a while added up to a total probably of half a minute during the whole game. It's not so good for your speed and APM and all of that. And let's see how Cass is doing with this cloaked Banshee. What was that? This has just morphed. The cloaked Banshee goes cloak, goes commando, but I'm sorry, I notice you have a drink spilled on your front glass, and cloak technology doesn't cover spilled drinks. This is why we have those handles, and we have these cups with covers, otherwise you will get noticed by the Zerg. And this is why you should always follow the safety the safety rules. Let's see what Cass does going from now. So like we said earlier, by the way, Cass is just trying to do some more harassment, but more than 3 kills that he already has on the Banshee, not much more he can secure, and now just taking down this rock tower to guard himself off any run-bys. This is actually an extra nice feature of the new Heart of the Swarm maps. I love it, and I would like to see it on majority of the maps. It's also nice where it's put right next to an expansion, so it would just crush the expansion and make it disappear from the face of the earth. Alright, let's see what these medivacs do. At least they haven't stopped, so they are not like your sister trying to get her driver's license. They are in fact speeding towards the goal, but let's see how effective the drop is. Nerchio in fact doesn't have the vision, so with just getting additional bases, he didn't put an overload very forward to get vision on the drop. He will get the warning soon enough, and oh, the drop goes on, but there are roaches, there are just enough roaches to defend it. The drop probably can just carry on. Oh, there's a fungal, not so good. Oh, the engines are blocked by a green mass of goo. And see ya later, alligator. This medic is just crazy right now, escaping her destiny. And on the other side of the map we have another drop from Cass, but it's not so effective as we see. Nerchio extremely efficient at blocking drops. Why is he so efficient, you would ask? That is because he keeps small groups of his units around his bases. And not everywhere. You don't need to be prepared for drops everywhere. No, you just need to have a small group of Zerglings in your side bases. So in the bases that would be most prominent to drops, you just keep a steady force of Zerglings that would just be enough to hold a single or double drop. Now, giga drops could also happen, but then you would usually get a read seeing like 5 or 10 medivacs. That's usually a nice tell of saying that someone is just going all in with their drops. And Nerchio going for this old-fashioned Wings of Liberty play, just infestal link roaches, and that's cool. And you know, behind that he's switching to ultras, so this is going to be, many people say this is very much like Wings of Liberty, but it's not. Switching to ultras has been very late in Wings of Liberty. Right now Nerchio can just stay alive with, oh, so good fungals. As you see, that ball of goo that flies through the air is rather slow, and hitting the right fungal is kind of difficult nowadays. So what will happen here? Oh my god, this has been so bad. Majority of the siege tanks just destroying themselves, you know. What's that? And yeah, that's not working so well in favor of Kaz. Another Fangle from a distance. And perhaps another one. Uh-oh. Nerchio, you need to be careful. Now Kaz doesn't feel so comfortable anymore, but he cannot retreat. And the Zerglings are swarming from everywhere. This looks like a mission from a campaign. And oh shush. All the medivacs getting captured by the fungal. Oh, again, a huge group. And sorry, Kaz, you have just got yourself rid of most of your medivacs. Oh, not so good for you, Kaz. In the background, Kaz is trying to buy his way back into the game with another drop, and he does those double drops which just have double healing because he doesn't use the medivacs. Also, you know, he doesn't need all of them, so he would just support his drop with an additional medivac. And now let's see where this game continues from now on. We have chitinous plating for Nerchio, free upgrades on the Zerglings. And in regards to Kaz, let's check the upgrade levels. He's on 2-1-1 with his bio and mech army. He also so basically Kaz this game is kind of behind in upgrades, and Nerchio is just finishing level 3 and he just goes for the kill with so many units lost previously. And oh, another good Fangle. Nerchio has found the perfect mix of units, and now he runs away. He has lost the Zergling support and he doesn't want to risk all his ultras without the Fangles, and he just got the energy for one more Fangle, and now is the best time to escape. But ideally he will just supplement his army with 50 Zerglings being morphed right now across the map. Holy guacamole, this will be a huge push from Nerchio. It may even potentially end the game because Kaz has been sustaining some heavy losses, although the army supply and the production of Kaz is just good enough to keep him in the game. That is the benefit of having so many drops. You know, having so many drops earlier in the game, Kaz just kept Nerchio constantly on his toes, and eventually Nerchio, even though he is all around the map and he spreads like creep itself, he doesn't have enough income, enough units to power through whatever Kaz has in store. So Kaz, a very good defensive player, but then I'm not really sure what could he do to defend this. Dodging blades of Ultralisks, especially if you're just surrounded by huge elephants with claws, it's rather difficult. And now this army has been cut away from the reinforcements, and Nerchio has been too greedy with this, although he will try to go for a surrender. That was a little bit too careless, and there are just too many marauders into Kaz army, and Kaz has like only siege tanks and marauders by now with only a couple of marines, and that allows him to munch through every single ultralisk that Nerchio has to throw at him. And Nerchio starts to go for banelings. I'm not sure that's a good idea right now. Banelings not so effective against marauders. And a couple of infestors here, and Nerchio will regret the fact that he didn't rally them more properly. One fungal goes off, although it didn't catch it. It doesn't catch too many units, and Kaz is just straight up attacking. And Nerchio will lose his third base. Nerchio has to regroup. He probably will just swing around and try to take Kaz from the back. That's the most effective way of approaching him. He has to do it before the creep is gone. And oh, the Ultras got sidetracked again. They should be participating in the fray, but no, they haven't. And Nerchio just now realizing that there is such a thing as a Viper, and it has the Blinding Cloud ability, and will it help enough? Oh, well, Nerchio with enough speed on the creep is able to clear this army, and again, oh, he takes the lead in the game. 110 army supply against 70. Nerchio just securing himself a lead again after losing the third, so it has been also difficult for him, and he still persists. So well played, Nerchio. You are still alive. Now let's see what Kaz can do. He can just continue right now. He can just continue the drops, and Nerchio, oh Nerchio, you old wolf. Nerchio is prepared for that. Nerchio knows that Kaz is going to try and go for some drops, and already prepares a group of Zerglings to intercept that. Nerchio is reading the mind of his opponent, and by the way, there's a very annoying Banshee here that has just joined the junkyard. And oh, Nerchio defending this, but Cass taking a very good position behind the minerals. This is their way to drop. If you drop between the Vespene Geyser and the mineral line, you just get you very much limit the surface area. If you could drop like here and even further limit the surface area of your drop, that's even more awesome. But as far as good drops go, Cass is showing us how to do it properly. Now, Nerchio is just morphing a bunch of bendings, he's going for centrifugal hooks. It seems he has just enough of these games, he wants to win this and claim the victory, but I am not so sure about this. Well, siege tanks, marauders, all those units are very beefy and it will be very difficult for Nerchio to crush them with bendings. Although, if he uses the bendings just to destroy expansions, that may actually work. And it seems we may be having a base trade scenario. Cass has just moved out and is decided on destroying this base, and Nerchio is just going back. In fact, going for a base trade may have been beneficial for Nerchio, although he can afford losing a couple of bases. He's a Zerg, he will pick up eventually. Cass cannot afford it so much, and Nerchio is trying to decide on the best moment. The creep will be gone in a second. A lot of cryptomers have just been cleared, so Nerchio has to be very quick with his attack. And a nice run by. Oh, this will prevent too many. This will prevent too many fungal growths being thrown at the force of the army. And now Nerchio moving in for the kill. He is decided he wants to take this victory, but will he? All those units are so powerful, but then the bending support just does amazing. And Nerchio with a ton of his very beefy ultras still alive, although he suffers at multiple other fronts. There is one drop here, one drop there, one drop pretty much everywhere by now, and it's so difficult. Even though you're good, you will keep losing bases, and another base lost. Oh, Nerchio is just falling apart. He has the army advantage, I believe. No, he has not. Cass was just able to reproduce that all, and now Cass will just continue the aggression and the drops. And there's still one hilarious siege tank to the place where I thought Azelnaga is, but there is no longer. So why would we be worried about that? And Nerchio is trying to figure out a nice way to counter-attack right now, but I am not sure how much successful will that be. This siege tank will just be hilarious till the end of the game. I can already prophesize that. And Nerchio goes in, and oh, holy moly, so many marauders. And now I'm not sure that Nerchio can take this. He tries to evacuate, but this is not Starship Enterprise. He cannot just say engage and disappear into the warp. Fortunately, Ultras don't have the warp drive yet, and thus it seems Cass will be taking the series. We are shortly approaching the point where Cass will just take the game, and there is not much that Nerchio can do about that right now. He's just picked apart everywhere. He's losing everything. Oh, a beautiful fungal, and even though a lot of those units have just exploded and pieces of meat and bone are flying everywhere, and Nerchio in his frustration just leaves the game, and Cass takes the victory, guys. Cass winning 5-3 over Nerchio. Wow, what a nice show of how should you be playing against Zerg in Heart of the Swarm. Nice show match, guys. I was looking so much forward to this, and it has been a blast. It's rather late and MLG is upon us, so I'll be wrapping up quickly. Let me just talk with the players. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you very much for following us. I encourage you to watch even more live streams, and we'll be back shortly with the Heart of the Swarm giveaway, so don't go anywhere. There is still a Heart of the Swarm copy for you to win. You just need to stay here for a couple more minutes. I'll be back soon.